Think of it, Guru Maharaj does use the example of a virus about our Krishna consciousness. Shh, don't tell people because they'll think a virus is a bad thing. But we see how rapidly and how much a virus can spread from one source. Something happens. And then quickly, here. This was the virus, a special virus that Mahaprabhu gave. The holy name of the Lord, the antivirus, not antivirus. And there must be a sweet word, which is the Madhura virus. No, I'm not sure. But this was the method of distribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Through the holy name, one will hear, another will hear, they will catch it, another will hear, they will catch it. And before you know, the whole world, independent of borders, has the virus of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Nitai Gora Haribol, Nitai Gora Haribol. Everywhere we go, the children, even how is it that like young 5-year-old children everywhere will say Haribol when they see us in the street. But Haribol catches on. So Haribol, 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 Haribol. Chant Krishna's names. All right. We are 1, 2, 3, 4. And me, 5. And it's 5:04. Going to be 5:05 on this side of the world. Maybe 1 or 2 more will join because the clocks are different all over the world. I know. Some go faster, some go slower. But in the meantime, I can just let you know that here yesterday we had an international gathering too, and we had a very good program with Chinese, mainly Chinese. It was principally a Chinese program. There's quite a Chinese community here. So there's quite a Chinese community locally, and so we had Chinese come and attracted by yoga. We have really professional yoga, qualified yoga teachers, but that's only the trick to get them into the Govinda farm, because when they're in Govinda farm, from beginning to end, except maybe when they're hanging upside down doing their yoga and stuff, which is only 1 hour, that's their department. Well, 1.25 hours, 1 hour and 15 minutes is a yoga program. But the rest of it, sorry, they're very close to the virus of Krishna consciousness because they're with us. Not sure how potent our virus is, but we caught it from somebody else. So we know that, from them, this virus, it must spread. So actually very good people. And one of them, man, name is Gavin, he's like so enthusiastic that he's not young, he's not old. He's like young middle age or old young age, whatever you want to say. But he is so appreciative because he's never come across anything like this before. And he's going through Bhagavad Gita as it is, but I said, whenever you see ISKCON, think of us. Kind of explain what is the difference. But he's going through Bhagavad Gita, and he's got his Chinese Bhagavad Gita, and he's got a pencil, and he's marking inside. And like all of this is so new to him. And he just wants to go, when the borders open and everything, he wants to go back to China. And he told me yesterday, there's 1.6 billion people. I thought there were only 1.5 billion people. Anyway, 1.6 billion people in China. And so he says he wants to go back and tell them about this. I mean, that's the mood of Mahaprabhu's teaching. It's a mood of Mahaprabhu's followers, actually, that we want to tell others because we lived our life in that environment, and they didn't know anything. Nothing. I remember the nearest thing I ever heard about what is Krishna consciousness is some discussion between people who have no idea, asking each other, what do you think of the Hare Krishnas? But, from outside, one thinks this, one thinks that. And happily, I didn't hear anything offensive, when I look back at that. But it's just, people who don't have any idea of anything, just giving stupid opinions, just befitting those who have no idea of anything. So, we're thinking about the basics of Krishna consciousness in these, little gatherings that we're doing. And the basis of Krishna consciousness is actually enthusiasm, that we have enthusiasm and we recognize it's something very valuable, and we have enthusiasm to distribute this to others. Enthusiasm, confidence, patience. You've all heard these things before somewhere. I wonder where you've heard these things before. Okay, right here, you've heard these things before. But seeing newcomer means for maybe, I don't know how many months, but for a few months now, he's been reading Bhagavad Gita and coming to the temple, met Goswami Maharaj, etc. And you see this retreat center, the Govinda farm, it very much complements the temple, because we go to the temple comes here. It's not that I am representing the Govinda farm, but it's just two like facilities that brings the newcomers together and keeps the devotees together, hopefully. But it's good to see that enthusiasm. So in New Zealand, in San Jose, what happened to our Australian contingent? Oh yes, Rupanugavu was there, just we're not able to see him. And in Australia, wherever we are, we may not have 1.6 billion people on our doorstep, or in the case of our Gavin friend, I told him, okay, well, already maybe a few hundred within ISKCON and our own group have heard about Krishna, and with some sensible conception. So you still have 1.5998 billion people to approach. Quick bit of mathematics there. We may not have that many people on our doorstep, but actually what savor did Mahaprabhu give everybody? To chant the name and to leave aside our mundanity, our mundane things. To chant the holy name and to tell others about the holy name. What is the most merciful thing to do for others? Others is to give them this introduction to the holy name, because that is the very way to get, what do you get by chanting the holy name? Eternal life, wake up consciousness, and if you're going to be eternal and awake, you better be Anandam, you better be full of happiness, joy. And that's what is this Krishna consciousness. That is what is the substance of this. It's not an army of being fearful of our seniors or something, as we have seen sometimes takes place in the world in some, I'm not saying our society, I'm not sure anyone's fearful in our society, the seniors, but fearful, we've seen that kind of army attitude, which in the beginning may be good for keeping us, getting up in the morning and doing the things in the temple, and, the devotee who's been there 2 weeks longer than you is a senior devotee, and they're going to tell us what to do. And if we don't, we get barked at. We have been through this school in order to come to our Krishna consciousness family of Guru Maharaj. But I honestly also want to say I have no complaints. For me, it was necessary and good, and we survived, and somehow Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and Krishna and Srila Prabhupada and Mahaprabhu brought me to Guru Maharaj and to Gurudev. And I can think out of all of that headed by Srila Prabhupada, because really, I thought he was alive. I thought he was, on the planet. But then I was very sad when I found that he's not on the planet. And my kind of gentle aim was to meet him by reading his book. But this was 1980, and he disappeared, as I found out. But there was nothing in the book I was reading to say that he had disappeared. So for months, I became vegetarian, chanting Hare Krishna, reading this book, and really wanted to meet Srila Prabhupada. And then I think it was my third visit to the temple. Then it dawned on me, oh, he's passed away, or something happened. So I asked somebody then, oh, my karma. I am such a bad person. I couldn't meet such a saintly person, which really the case. But maybe following the footsteps of, or not the footsteps, but following the indication Guru Maharaj gives, that the reactions to our life are burnt up in the fire of regret. Guru Maharaj said that right in front of me, and it struck me. The reactions for all of the things we've done is burnt up in the fire of regret. So, we also looking back thinking, well, I didn't know any better. We try to, be good people in the world as much as we know, but we didn't know any better. And then when we hear about, cow killing and all these things, we think, oh my goodness, all the things we've been involved in that we had no idea were, so incredibly sinful, etc., etc. Anyhow, we came to the loving family of Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, where the modus operandi, the way that the family ran, was not of an army structure, but was very much of an affectionate family structure. And I don't know about in your parts of the world, the Antipodes and I don't know what is it. I don't know how to describe every other part of the world. But in our part of the world, I mean, really, for all of the faults of the Western or British-based society, then at least we were brought up with respect for our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts, our relatives. We were definitely brought up with respect for them. And, just it was an automatic thing. This is your uncle, this is your aunt. And then, oh, my uncle, my aunt. Then we are not like this because we only learn this when we come to Krishna consciousness. But we are in that kind of a mood. So family, but then with affection, they're taking care of us all. Yes, Govinda, Govinda. And our Texas representation coming to join us. And who's with you there, Brajamohini Didi?
Right now I'm here, just me and the crickets. But Krishna and Angelique are out right now. His dad went back home yesterday, so it's just the three of us.
Okay, means Indulekha. Krishna.
Yeah, they're not here at the moment, but they're here.
Okay, very good. Maybe we'll get a little news report later on of how the progress of the... Have you got a name for that place? Do you have a name?
I think that was, we needed to ask you, Maharaj. We've been trying to think about it, but I think you need to be the one. Right now it's called the Land or various other names, but
now it's called the Land. Did you say?
No, I mean it needs a name. It needs a name because it doesn't have a name. So
okay. Oh well, there's a seed of a thought. We'll give it a little. We'll churn it not in the ocean of milk, we're in the ocean of whatever. Hey. I've seen inside a head, by the way, with Gurudev. On the way to Calcutta, we were driving one morning, and almost every time when you drive early in the morning, there's a kind of some road accidents, bigger or smaller, but commonly 2 or 3 accidents. And one day we were driving down there, and a truck in the night had hit a tree, and the passenger side of the truck was like a bit demolished, but the person, presumably not the driver, but the helper, as they say politely, he was in the road with the top of his head neatly sliced off, and he's in the road, and we are seeing this, and really you see right inside his head, and Gurudev is sitting, he's looking, I'm also looking, and Gurudev completely aloof to everything. He just like noticing. And my thought was, can't somebody just spare a blanket and or a chadar, just cover the body so everybody doesn't have to see, because it's not that it happened like 2 minutes ago. It had happened and the body is lying in the road. But then I also thought, well, I also didn't stop and put something over, so I'm in the same category. But we have seen what's inside the head. It's not very pretty.
Okay.
Either physically, or, okay, it's not very pretty mentally also. Hare Krishna.
Not the heart, not the physical heart, the heart of the Vaishnava. Then we can find the beautiful meaning inside
The
there.
heart and head. Oh, look, we've got a gathering coming up in New Zealand. In not Whangarei, but near Whangarei. Okay, Ananta Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome. You've driven in on your horse. You've ridden in on your horse. Well, I can't hear you. It's muted. I have to press the mute button. Yes,
Shanks's
Prabhu.
pony, more like.
Shanks's pony. Okay, I don't remember what Shanks's pony is.
It's a slow man's journey on a horse.
It's a slow man's journey on a horse.
Yes.
Okay, then you got there. No problem at all.
Okay.
And in the meantime, Devotee Devidasi arrived from Mexico. Just see. And didn't I see Dibbi Shakti? No, I must have been wrong. Yes, Dandavat Devotee. How are you, Prafulla, the children?
We're good. Everything okay? Enjoying the heat.
Enjoying the heat. Okay. It's Mexico. It's the north of Mexico, but there you are, enjoying the heat. Well, it looks like New Zealand, a little chilly. All right. Well, we are here gradually coming together. Here's Bimala also, you know, we're only 20 minutes late. We can think of Rome in Italy. Oh, Bimala, you're from Italy. Ah, Bimala. We think you are Californian and Brazilian, but actually you're Italian. Bimala, we can't hear you, but I hope you can, I hope you can hear them, the Vaishnavas. I hope you can hear us okay. Bimala is, in fact, Italian. So really, our Rome, we've done some public programs in Rome. And when you first go and you're on time and everything, nobody's there or one person is there. And you think, oh, okay, maybe advertising didn't work very well in Rome. But then this one program we did, literally one person was there at the time. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, it's you and me, I'll just have a chat more or less. And she said, oh, no, just wait. This is Rome. After half an hour, it'll be full. And I'm kind of a little cautious. I think, really? Anyway, we did have a chat. And within half an hour, the place was full. So this is Rome. The clocks just run a little different. Rukmini Devidasi, you are also with us. You see how international we are. And also joined us here, running on Roman time, Kala Chan Prabhu. Yes, Kala Chan. Shruta Shavar Prabhu, one of his offspring. You can tell by
so many faces.
You can tell by his face, but we look a bit spooky because it's nighttime and our lighting is not
Ideal.
So we look a bit spooky with the lighting. I understand that. Prafulla, I can see half a Prafulla. Haribol, Haribol.
Dandavad Maharaj, Dandavad Kalachan,
Dandavad
Dandavad Ivana, Parameshwari, Raja,
Puranga.
Bimala.
How's everybody?
We're doing great.
Put up your thumbs and hands.
I have to credit Braja Mohini Maharaj. She's the one who gave me the Shrikant recipe and her tips and tricks that Goswami Maharaj absolutely loved. He ate like 2 cups of it, and we had to make it for every festival that happened after that.
Was there tons? Did you make like 5 gallons?
I made like 5 gallons. Yeah, I made a massive bowl.
Oh my God, that's great.
We ate it for like 4 days after, and everybody loved it.
And here in Thailand, you know that most of the devotees are of Russian or Russian-ish. We've got to include, you know, Ukrainians, Russian-speaking. But everybody appreciates having Karla Chan Prabhu here and Gora Nataraj Prabhu. They really notched up the cooking and the, not just Boga, Prasadam for everybody. And Goswami Maharaj is their greatest fan for being in the kitchen. So, and he's trying to get them all, as he's done with our back to basics, giving some teaching about you know, how to cook the things the Indian way. And Paramanand, who is not with us today, he had a program. He had another program last night, something he had to do with his work, for that side of the Seva. But yesterday, I told you we had our gathering here, and some here tonight. We may be joined by more, and then today others are joining us. So the retreat center of Govinda Farm here in Thailand is actually running along nicely and super beautiful, even though we look very spooky. You can bring, you okay?
Yeah,
you can
fine.
sit on the mat. Anyhow, we've gradually come together. Let's utilize our time nicely. And I can first ask, is there any question? And one question I can ask, actually, like pertinent to this is, when you first came to Krishna consciousness, or we've been chanting Hare Krishna for a while, is there something that nobody had told you, like for a long time? And when they told you, you thought, why didn't they tell me this at the beginning? Does anybody have something in that category? Like, we expect everybody knows, but as it turns out, you know, people don't know. What about in New Zealand? We have our new generation coming up there. Is there something that you wish you'd known when you first came to Krishna consciousness? I mean, good thing. Or from anybody? Oh yes, Jai Gauranga Prabhu, you look like you're going to press the unmute button.
Is it good?
Yes, good, we can hear you.
Okay. So much, Maharaj. It was you know, how sweet the association of devotees really is. You know, that you can't really kind of sum that up in words. I wish I'd known more and had, you know, been able to realize that.
Okay. This isn't really something we can teach. We can only say, yes, the devotees are very sweet. And I know sometimes, I mean, people are fearful about coming to a temple, perhaps. And here we're in Thailand, and right behind us, I mean, there's quite a thick forest of trees here, but you will probably hear in a short while, they have a gong. They have different gongs, and I'm only guessing what the gongs are for, because one gong we know is for their meditation, but another gong we suspect is for the mealtime, but they're a different sound of gong. But we hear their gongs, and we walk here. Because we walk, we cycle. It's a beautiful place to get exercise, to be with devotees and get exercise. But we see it's a meditation. This part, there's a temple, many temples, but this is a meditation retreat. And you see them, they each are under a tree, they have their shelter, and you see them doing their meditation on, you know, watching the rice grow, as we maybe mentioned, meditating on something very, you know, unsatisfying. And I can say a friend, I knew somebody who went on a Buddhist meditation course, and they told me how tough it was. And if in the morning they slouch a little bit while meditating, with a bamboo stick, they would get whacked on the back. to straighten their back like this. So a little bit about the army style, that for those of us who were together a little earlier, the army style of getting the newcomers to do the right thing. That's there in the Buddhist teaching, which teaches non-violence, by the way. So joining a temple or coming to the devotees in the beginning may be a bit like fearsome, that, oh no, it's very strict and very this, very that. But yes, the family that's come from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, it is strict. We really don't want nonsense and everything, but it is affectionate. It is the affectionate shelter of our guardians. But that's one thing. I don't know how much we can put that in the introduction, back to basics user manual. But yes, the devotee association is sweet. Don't run away from devotees. Come to the devotees.
Maharaj, one of the things that I remember that it was different from me since I was small was that after the arctic, we don't pass the flower to smell it or the fire. That was one of the things that I didn't know that we shouldn't do, like at the temple, and I didn't know why either. But like similar things, and also I can't remember if the conch was sounding at the beginning or just at the end. Those kind of things, I think I've learned in a different way when I was small, and then when I was at the temple, they said like, no, we cannot pass the fire or the flower and those kind of things.
Well, it's just a different custom of a different family, because they're all prasadam. And even with the passing the fire, in many of our temples, they do pass the lamp afterwards. But in Navadip, they didn't, except on festival days. And on festival days, not only they pass the prasadam lamp around, but like everyone's very enthusiastic to, come to the fire and take it. But it was on festival days, not every day. And it's a etiquette of the different family. And you're a family lady, you go to your in-laws and they're going to have some different ways they do things from when you go to your family. So that's basically it. But passing the flower around, yes, sometimes still we go to places and they pass the flower around. It does seem a little unusual, because everybody else sniffed that flower. I'm going to put my note. We have to be quite transcendental for this one. And also the flowers, so often there's either no smell, that's because I don't have transcendental smell, it's been offered to the Lord, or they've doused it with some, artificial smell, which, we wonder whether Krishna accepted that smell. And by the way, the incense, we can't avoid incense, but some of the incense that gets offered to the Lord, we have to say, oh, that's pretty rough incense. So anyway, yeah, these kind of etiquette things, I think they're family things, Rukmini. So I know when we joined the temple, we had to change gear. We had to forget things like you're saying that used to happen, and then adopt the new practices. And one of the things that was kind of inspiring for a lot of devotees, including myself, was when we would chant japa walking around Tulsi, and we would also, they'd sing, for a long time, the devotees would go around Tulsi doing yani kani cha pa pani. And what's the rest? Yani. You see, it's so long since I've done it. But Yani, anyhow, evidence that I've forgotten it. I am the evidence I've forgotten it. But that verse is telling us that verse is telling us that with every step we are cleaning off, our offenses. We are cleaning off our karma from before. And actually, for the newcomers who, as we mentioned earlier, coming out from the material world where we couldn't even conceive of the amount of offenses we've made out of ignorance and out of having no guidance, then it was kind of inspirational. But when we came to the mat, then we said, oh no, we don't chant this, because it is like utilizing Tulsi Devi for me. No, I'm going to get benefit by going around Tulsi. I'm going to get cleaned by going around Tulsi. It's like very much like using Tulsi Devi in that sense. Now I know there are so many things. So this is, it's a fine line, but this coming to our family, then we are not singing that. And then the devotees explain in this way. And then actually we feel very happy. We think, yes, we don't want to, have Tulsi simply as a special bar of soap. Well, we're going to have a special cleaning by this bar of soap. We want to engage in everything with devotional mood. So we are chanting her glories and chanting the glories with what we do sing. Namo Namo Tulasi Maharani, Brinde Maharani, Namo Namo, Namo Re Maya Namo Narayani. I know this one. Yes, Ananta Krishna Babu, you put up your hand.
My one was when I first started in the temple, more so in Gaudiya Mat, is only because I wasn't so interested beforehand, but at Gaudiya Mat we're taught that we're supposed to drop all association of outside influences, such as family and so on and so forth. I have a big problem with a sister that I love dearly, but I don't really want to associate. And I feel really awful in praying that she'll go home, because she's ensconced herself into my home, or into Krishna's home. And it's like, when are you going home to your own? And I don't know whether that's a selfish attitude or whatnot,
So
Yeah,
we always have.
she's not devotionally inclined at all.
No, she's
opposite.
Totally opposite to our way of thinking, or my way of thinking. And I feel that to be a proper host, I have to drop what I'm doing and listen to her gabble. I mean, she listens to me reading. She enjoys hearing about the Bhagavad Gita and all this. But then she's into angels and fairies and whatnot, all that stuff.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. What do I do apart from chant Hare Krishna? I hope she goes home.
Well, there are angels, there are Gandharvas, there are Asuras also. There are many things there. But yes, actually, this is the nature of the devotee. And as we know from our previous, back to basics, amongst the unfavorable things is keeping or having the association of non-devotional persons, materialistic persons. And in the favorable listing is abandoning the association of non-devotional persons. So this also gives some emphasis to this very point. Excuse me. But she's family, and in a family way, I think you need to find out how to do what you know is actually the right thing, but to do it with the heart. That is, as a guest in your home, then a guest is a guest, not to live forever in the brother's house. But every family is a bit different, and maybe another member of your family could have a quiet mention in her ear, or you can just take her for a drive one day and just
drop her off somewhere.
Drop her off, exactly. I was thinking how to do it and then give her a suitcase afterwards. Dear sister, I love you very much. I want the best for you, but
you gotta go.
Anyhow, in some, just
So,
as with
Maharaj, The thing is
Huh?
that she's not my real sister. She's a spiritual entity that I met long, 18 years ago. And we've just been brother and sister like that, in that way. So at the same time, I don't want to be offensive with her either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you do know what I'm saying.
Anyhow, try to get maybe your friends to give her some strong hint, perhaps. The thing is, every dealing with people is different because no two people are the same. So it's a little difficult to be able to give advice from here, except to say not to put just half of you in. We want all of Carla in, not only half of it. And except to say that your mood and intention is correct. I mean, really, we only can, tolerate, if you like, we only should tolerate so much as far as non-devotional association goes, and generally only so much as giving an opportunity to give association to them. And if they are not showing any favorability, then not necessary to keep that close relationship. And we've been joined by Ananda Leela Devidasi of, I always forget, is it Russia or Ukraine? Russia, from Russia. Got to be careful, Russia and Ukraine. But that's the politics, they're not with each other. Devotees are all from Russia. Yes, come and have a seat. And if any of the other devotees have a good tip on how to handle such situations, then please chip in. Here's Ananda Leela Devidasi from Russia, part of the team here. Today, going to be joined by a whole bunch more. It's Sunday, and we're having, every day is a festival for those who participate. So here we are. So we've been quite informal this morning, this afternoon. I can ask a question to Braja Mohini as it's a bit late to start on a specific subject, but Braja Mohini has been very active with the newcomers coming to Salt Lake City Temple and then coming for the Govinda Mela, which took place the last couple of years. And in general, she's very active with the preaching, presenting Krishna to the devotees. And I can ask the Braja Mohini to share some tips with us on how to give association to the public, or as in this case, to an adopted sister almost, how to give association effectively for the benefit of those that we're meeting with. So over to you, Braja Mohini. You will need to unmute the microphone.
You need to answer these questions. I like to bring them to meet the devotees. Or bring the devotees to meet people so they can have the association of devotees, because that's all important. That's everything that's important. So if we can make some opportunity for those that are new, but as far as my own association, is not so good. So I try to either make some situation where the devotees can come to them or they can come to see the devotees. But besides that, I think chanting is a very good idea whenever possible, because that's beyond philosophy or discussion or anything like that. The chanting is all heart capturing and connecting us with something deeper. So I think that's nowadays pretty much, I think that's pretty much everything for new people. A little philosophy, maybe something is possible, but I think the chanting is important, most important.
Okay. And as we have heard many times, Srila Prabhupada how did he make the Krishna consciousness movement? It was through chanting and prasadam. Those are the two things that really changed the devotees. And we know our experience in London, they had, was it Govindas? No, it was healthy, wealthy, and wise. In Soho, in just off Oxford Street in London, it's still there, the temple's still there today. And so many devotees joined due to, I can say first, the prasadam and the chanting. And by the way, for those of you who are drawing people with prasadam to hear about Krishna, with which we have some indeed, then I can share a successful policy in that Soho Street temple. And it's good to share things which work. That is that they serve, very nice as always, lunch prasadam for free to whoever will come in. They serve for free. However, sometimes they served it before the program in the temple, and sometimes they served it after the program in the temple. So for those who wanted to be sure, because you get people coming just every day to have a meal and go, but the idea is they're going to hear something to draw them to understand what is Krishna consciousness. And so if you want to be sure to get a free meal, you have to go there and at least hang out during the time of the arti and the short class that would take place at lunchtime. And that was quite effective, so that the devotees, you can say, pulled in by the prasadam, but by hook or by crook, they're hearing a little bit of something. The chanting, the kirtan, and a few minutes of talk from Bhagavad Gita, perhaps they were doing. But many devotees came who had no interest really in spiritual life, but did have interest in the tasty prasadam. So there's a tip from there. And Jivana Devi Dasi, please where's Jivana? Let Jivana share something with us. Her husband is the catalyst, the way that Guru Maharaj Gurudev's family came into China. And her husband, Yudamanyu Prabhu Seva Vikram, with the title given by Gurudev, Seva Vikram. Then he is very active in South Africa, in San Jose, and you know the history much more than me, Jivana. And so Jivana always takes a very humble position, but she's seen so many things in her life, and she's definitely a people person. When Jivana is with us, we're doing Harinam Sankirtan, and when she's distributing flyers, practically nobody refuses. She goes there, but we hand out flyers, and so many people, all grumpy, not wanting to take. But Jivana, she's got smiles, distributes flyers, talks to people. So Jivana, tell us a tip of how to be able to give some association. People person Jivana, we need to give you a title.
Maybe you have me mixed up with somebody else, Maharaj?
No.
I don't know, when you're with the devotees, I really like what Braja said, that she likes to bring people to the devotees, because when you're with the devotees, you feel happy, you feel different than you do when you're by yourself. It's like your mind takes a back seat finally, and you can be with the other devotees, and they always have something wonderful to say. So that is a very beautiful thing. And of course, prasadam love what you said about prasadam. I remember that was one of Yudha's first experiences when he went to the temple in Portland, because he had no idea what was going on. He thought these people were a little bit weird, but anyway, he ended up going to the temple, and he was kind of psyched out. And then when he left, they gave him some halava, and he was kind of looking at the halava walking down the street like, what is this? And then some devotee came running after him and said, oh, here, and gave him a big bowl of fruit, which he could really relate to and which he really understood. And he couldn't believe this person came running after him to give him something like that. And that sort of really drew him into that temple. That was one of his experiences.
And what threw you into the temple?
What drew me into the temple is a very good question. I also really like the prasadam. But I remember I used to go to this temple on Maui, and then they would have these classes, and they had a class one night, and they told the story of Mother Yasoda binding Krishna. And then they were telling the story and telling it, and then how she didn't have enough rope to bind Krishna, and then she still added more rope, and there still wasn't enough, and she added more, there still wasn't enough. And then finally, out of love, Krishna let her bind him. And I was like, whoa, what is this? It's like one of the first things that kind of struck me about Krishna consciousness, that oh, wow, this is really something. I'm kind of understanding these people a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Maharaj,
another observation that I remember one devotee, he told me that he first came, and he came to the temple. They brought him to the temple somehow or another, by hook or by crook, got him to the temple. Like Raja Mohini is saying, bring them to the devotees, let them see. He said, I didn't understand anything, but I saw their dealings with each other. And I thought I'd never been where there's a group of people. So I've been with groups of people, but there's always like some ego, alpha person and a whatever person. But there it was a completely different relationship with everyone. So even they don't catch anything, maybe philosophically or anything, but they from outside can also recognize there's some sort of a different bond. There's a different, and it's not like a fake thing. There's something real there. So that just by seeing the devotees. And another thing is we cannot tell in the future who comes to the temple now or who comes to meet the devotees now. What's their future? We may never know. So, but they may become, a great personality. They may come home to Krishna very soon.
Maharaj, the affectionate mood that Gurudev was always with, how he was always affectionate with us, and that's, people really respond to that affection, and that's what they'll remember also, like with new people and people coming to the temple, or when we go out, like they might not remember anything that you said, or but with that affection that comes through, then that's what they remember, because everyone is really suffering, and everyone is missing affection in this world. Everything is based on trading and money, and like you said, the ego and all of that that everyone's trying to wade through. So when they meet the devotees, it's such a different experience, and it's a lot for people a lot of times, but they will remember that affection that they receive. So I'm not very good at that, but I'm trying.
He's very good at that.
And I think that's really what people respond to, and we saw that with Gurudev, how much affection he had for us. So we tried to remember to somehow pray to be an instrument of that affectionate mood that he gave to us.
And that is something in the connection of our family too. I mean, really, it's Gurudev's family. So naturally, you've got that in the DNA, and that's what distinguishes us in some ways from other quarters that we see. Yes, Ananta Krishna Prabhu.
Maharaj, I'm reading Swami in a Strange Land at the moment, which is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And
really?
Yes. Prabhupada, a guy named somebody Wilson, anyway, many years back, had been part of the new temple intake in America at the stage. And he watched Prabhupada excuse himself he had to step over a drunk. This was when Matches Gifts was just beginning. And instead of kicking the drunk off the floor, off the doorstep, he said to the drunkard person, "Excuse me, I don't mean to disturb you, but can I cross over you?" And of course the drunk's too inebriated to know what's going on. and the person that was with him, I can't remember who it was, but he turned around and he said, my life has changed right there and then. I'm a devotee. I want to be a devotee. And he was one of the first Matchless Gifts disciples with
Okay.
Prabhupada. Pardon?
Okay. By the way, I've never heard of that book, Swami in America. You had me a little worried when you told me the title. I was wondering what this was going to be.
Swami in a Strange Land, it is called. But he was in
Swami
America
in a
at this
Strange
time.
Land. Okay.
Yes.
It must be some Is it an adaptation of Satsrup Goswami's Prabhupada Lilamrita?
Yeah, it's Yogeshwara Das. He goes by the name of Joshua Green.
Okay, I hadn't
It's
heard.
Prabhupada's life story, basically, from India to right through.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have a lady in Australia, not Australia, in Russia. It's got a similar name. Anyway, we have a lady in Russia, and she came to Krishna consciousness. She came to the temple and came to search out the devotees after reading one book. And that one book was the biography of Srila Prabhupada.
Wow.
There is a short, it's not, she didn't read the Lilamrita. There's a shorter book, but it's still quite substantial about Srila Prabhupada.
Wow.
And then it just struck her. If somebody will give their life in such a way, there must be something very substantial and valuable there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you see, by preaching is, preaching is sharing that whole mood and the whole thing. And that's not a book of philosophy. That's a book of a person's life.
Mm.
So, yes, wonderful things. And, oh, many are here. Bimala Didi, can you hear us? If Bimala approaches anybody, they will also become butter in her hand. They will become a devotee. She will mold them into a devotee. And when we're doing Harinam Sankirtan, we have Bimala with us. She'll take somebody from the crowd by the hand and she gets them dancing. She gets people dancing you never think will dance up and down with the devotee. Bimala, if you can hear us. She's probably calling in on the phone. Oh, okay.
And Bimala is the perfect example that I try very far away, not following, but trying to follow her example of giving affection, because she's very, very affectionate. And always, when we go on Harinam, she's in every way, she's grabbing people's hands and getting them to dance and getting them to chant, and it's very joyful.
And also Bimala, I can say, I know Bimala first from India, from coming to Chaitanya Saraswat Math, coming, over the years to India. And, she's a thin, short lady, and she was very quiet and very humble. And I could never guess that she was so powerful as an influencer, as a preacher, but an influencer just by her own sincerity. You can see how humility, affection, it has its power. How else can she get so many people there on Harinam Sankirtan? Not just Harinam Sankirtan, distributing cookies, doing whatever. Then she's going to be telling them and say, all you need is Krishna. And she's telling them and people say, yes, okay, you say so, all I need is Krishna. A wonderful influence. Now I'm clicking the gallery to see who else we can ask something of. Govinda Nandini, oh yes, you're with us quietly and looking after us all. I did ask after you earlier on from Praneshwari, and everybody, we're all giving your support to you, Govinda Nandini, with obeisances, with affection, with respect, and with empathy, sympathy for the challenges that you face in the world. We all face challenges, it's a fact. It's just a reminder of the world we live in. But unfortunately, some more than others, but we're all devotees. And actually, that's another thing. Devotees together, they make the difficulties of this world less strong. Otherwise, in the material world, people just get caught up only in the difficulty without any shelter. So we have shelter. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure when was, I've lost track of days a little bit. But from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day, then here in Thailand, we've been every day singing from Sharanagati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sharanagati, the first book, back to basics, given by Guru Maharaj to Gurudev. And Guru Maharaj, he ticked 32 songs, Gurudev said. He ticked off 32 songs and said, learn these by heart. Within 1 week, he gave him 32 songs to learn. So we've been from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's day we started. Now we are, I don't know how many days ahead, but we are about 1/3 of the way through the Sharanagati. But it is, I'm just going to mention it as a tip. If you like, join us by singing or reading or reciting the Bengali, but the translation, join us by coming through the Sharanagati book, because really that is, when you can say the very first book that Guru Maharaj gave to Gurudev. There's a reason for that. And really it is such a harmonizing, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us harmonizing way of living in this world, seeing this world. It is very harmonizing. And we are now maybe song 18. Oh, we just started Goptrite Varanam, which is embracing the guardianship of the Lord. As you all know, correct? Because you've attended the Back to Basics course. This is why we have to come back to the beginning again, so we do remember everything nicely. So, Goptrite. Yes. Yes, but
songs in the songbook. Some of those songs from Sharanagati are in the songbook, like
they are.
All of them, or just some of them?
Oh no, some of them. There are 50 songs in Sharanagati. But yes, there are. But yesterday, the one we sang, which was the last one of the Dainyam, Atmanivedanam, that is in the songbook, and I hadn't sung it for a long time, and I'm thinking, why we haven't sung that song? So, there are songs in the songbook. We think we become familiar with them, but actually we forget about some of the songs. Today, I didn't sit so you could see the sunrise, because the sunrise didn't come the last time. But now I am seeing there is the pink sky of the morning here. So look, we are all seeing the pink sky of the morning. You see, when I didn't, and I thought about it, but when I deliberately didn't, because I thought, oh, the sun hasn't come these last couple of times when we sat that way around. But now, today, we've got some sunrise. What was the last song? Oh no. Was that the last song?
That was the last one.
Gentle.
Atmanivedana.
Oh yeah, Atmanivedana. Somehow it's in our songbook, but I hadn't sung it for a long time. So we hadn't sung it for a long time. So by going through it, we come across the songs. Oh yes, they haven't sung that for a long time. And we've just been joined with the sunrise. We've just been joined also by Mayeshwari Devi Rasi. I don't know if you can see her.
Come closer.
You can see her silhouette. So we are super, about as international as you can get. Everybody is from some different place, both digitally and here with us. We're all from some different place. And Mayeshwari is from Argentina, and since 16 years old in Mexico, and then America, and now Thailand. And she's the better half of Karla Chand Prabhu. And Karla Chand is the better half of Mayeshwari. All right. So they're gathering, and probably Parmanand is going to gather too shortly. We're going to do our morning program. We've been very informal today, but this is my mini tip, because we've found going through the Sharanagati, I mean, really, once a year to go through Sharanagati is probably very good for us, and this is a good time to go through. And it's only 50 songs, and you'll be surprised. 1 or 2 in the morning, 1 or 2 in the evening, and you suddenly find, oh, we're coming through the book. And it's happy. It's not an unhappy thing. It's very happy. And Sharanagati, certainly you can get on scsmap.com, the books PDF, the books, e-books, click on that and go to PDF books. You can get it there. And it's, Sharanagati is also in Russian, in Spanish. Sharanagati is in Spanish also. All right, any last thing from anybody just before, because we're going to continue here. But really very international, very super well presented. Praneshwari Devi Rasi.
Yes, Maharaj. I wanted to say that the first time I went to a temple, I was very lucky. It was the beginning of the Damodara month. And I was captivated by the song Damodarashtakam. I was just, wow, it was so beautiful, the meaning, the melody. So I went next day. Just to listen to that song, because they told me, oh, you can listen to it every day, but nobody told me only for 1 month. So at the end of the month, it was very nice. I went next day, no song. I missed it. It was a full month, and they told me no, but this is only once a year. And I said, okay, I will have to come every day until next year then.
And Praneshwari, you know, in ISKCON, why they sing the Damodarastakam during the month of Kartik? Because they learned this by coming to Chaitanya Saraswat Math. When Srila Prabhupada bringing the devotees to Chaitanya Saraswat Math to learn the etiquette, to learn the programs, the songs, the tunes, etc., and to learn means the Siddhanta from Guru Maharaj. And so after coming to Chaitanya Saraswat Math, then they adopted some of these things, and different things adopted over the course of time. But actually, Achyutananda Prabhu was one of the principal devotees, and I think he's still on the planet, right? Achyutananda Prabhu, I think, still. Sorry to say, I mean, so many Prabhupada disciples, Guru Maharaj disciples, passing away from this world. But he can definitely tell you that for sure, and so can Jaipataka Maharaj and others who were there amongst those senior devotees who came. And recently the world just lost in his physical presence Charu Swami, one of the leaders of ISKCON, who came to Guru Maharaj and kept Guru Maharaj in his heart throughout all that time, presented Guru Maharaj's conception in ISKCON. So he's another who passed away recently. And so we have to, appreciate the origin of what's taking place throughout ISKCON. Krishna consciousness, this is coming from Srila Saraswati Thakur, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada and Srila Govinda Maharaj. This is definitely our shelter and family. Again and again we say it, but again and again we remind ourselves. Actually, that's why I got a little, not concerned, but I had a question mark when I heard Ananta Krishna would say he's reading a book called Swami in a Strange Land, and I hadn't heard that title before. So I was saying, oh no, what Swami is this? But about Srila Prabhupada, okay, we're fine. Very good. Yes, Damodarastakam. And the thing is, if we follow the program, do what we're meant to do, we don't know what's going to resonate with different people. Because different people, different things will resonate. But if we follow the program, then you see some will be attracted to Damodarastakam, some will be attracted to Prasad, some will be attracted to the family atmosphere, whatever it is. And in a talk, I know this, we've given talks and we think, we talk so many subjects, and afterwards when people then discuss informally with us, we see what they got from the talk. but which gave inspiration perhaps, is something which we just thought was a very small sideline of the talk and not the main point we're trying to make at all. And then, you ask them about the main point, that didn't catch them, but something else caught them. So we just have to do our bit, and it's up to the Lord how the public and others, how each other will get nourishment. All right, anyway, now we are going to chant Hare Krishna and be happy, and probably we're going to chant a song or two from Sharanagati too. And we have a Sunday program. We are here on Sunday. You are having Saturday programs. Please try to come together and chant together as much as possible, wherever you are. In New Zealand, in Washington, but it's Washington State. Washington, D.C., we have a devotee, Ananda Prabhu, very good devotee. Subhasini's brother, but that's Washington State and Washington, D.C. are separate places.
East
And
west.
Rupanuga Prabhu, you know where to chant and be happy. You've got Govinda Dham nearby. And Bimala, Jivana, you all know. Brajamohini is making the place to chant and be happy, along with our friends in Texas. And Jai Gauranga Prabhu, Nandavadan Prabhu, Ananta Krishna Prabhu, you know where to chant, right where you are, as well as with the wonderful devotees there. And Praneshri Didi, do you have some community near you? Do you have other devotees? You got ISKCON.
ISKCON, yes, but they are closing down the program here. They are selling the property. And I am always dreaming that I will get some Lakshmi so we can have a program here, a settled place.
Anyway, in your
Something
home,
will come.
in
At
your
home.
home, you can just have chanting. In
Yes.
Russia, sometimes we're in these, the communist blocks, what they call Stalin blocks or something. Some of those flats are very small. You'll be surprised how many people you can get into a flat and chant Hare Krishna. And open the windows and doors so everybody else hears too. A lot of people live in those.
Yeah.
All right, we've got to go. Okay, there's a link in the side.
Real quick, Mara, should I just ask you real quick, because you mentioned in the beginning about the China yoga class. I'm
Yes.
just wondering if they're doing it on Zoom, if it's something that we could include other devotees from inside China, because they don't have anything there. They don't have Google, they don't have YouTube, they don't have any of the Facebook, all the places where we get our classes.
Okay, well,
They have Zoom.
I will ask Maheshri because I wasn't in the yoga class. Please
Okay.
excuse me.
We have
Okay.
Zoom in China, Jiva. Zoom is open for them.
Zoom is okay for China. They've been able to call into Zoom classes. In fact, we're having one tonight with them, with Janarda Maharaj.
Oh, very good.
I just thought I would just see, because I just feel sad for them that
Maheshri, come and talk to Jeevana.
very close
Because
to violence.
she was in the class, they were doing filming. I don't know where it's going or what's happening. Maheshwari will know better.
Dandavad.
Nandavad.
Okay, we can do a Zoom class the next time, because we did it yesterday, but we didn't like Chinese devotees will be interested.
Right. I don't know that they will be able to attend because of their work schedules. They work, all weekend long and everything. But if possible, it might be something that they would like.
Yeah, we can invite them because we have the WeChat group. I think all of it. If they're interested, we can do it. No problem.
Okay, that would be great.
But that's physical yoga, you know that. They do.
Oh, but I thought you said there's physical yoga, but also then you also have some class part.
Oh, but we leave them to do their physical yoga bit, but they're here they came before lunch, then they're here for lunch and all the way through, and they left in the evening. So we had our programs, our time together, and they're Chinese, so we have tea ceremony where they have these tiny little cups. But it's part of the custom, and then they're all very free. And so, this way we are, with them in that sense. But no, they get their yoga section. So I'm not sure that's a good influence. That's only the carrot to bring them in.
Right,
Like,
and
so
they probably
what a professional yoga. Sorry, yoga teachers, all yoga. Don't take me offensive.
okay, yeah. If it's just about the physical yoga, probably it won't be so necessary.
But we can join in the tea ceremony, because that's very chatty and very translation-y, because they're all talking with translation.
Okay, yeah, maybe we can think about it and keep an eye on to see if you think that it would be something that would be nice to include them in.
Okay.
Okay.
Jai. So all positive and progressive, Rukmini, Prafulla, all who I have mentioned, haven't mentioned, then our obeisances, our affection, and have a good week or a good few days, because we'll meet again soon, and we will cover a particular topic next week. We've got some topics lined up, but it's good for us to just to come together. And this week we can say Sharanagati, my encouragement. We are getting encouragement from it. We're getting much nourishment from it, and it's so practical. Actually, so many of the questions people ask us, well, there it is in Sharanagati. So my recommendation, not an instruction, try to go through Sharanagati bit by bit. Add it to your daily food. This is now everybody believes the scientists so much about, vitamin D, vitamin A, C, B, multi this, that, and the other. You can't tell what's in there. Show me the vitamin. But everybody believes it. But we believe the sadhus. We believe the different vitamins, or the different food nourishment of the practices we do. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur giving us a very fully rounded meal of Krishna consciousness. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rokkok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Bhaga Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Shri Prapana Jivanamritam Ki Jai. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur Sri Sharanagati Ki Jai. Okay, to all the assembled devotees Ki Jai, to all our Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Brinda, all the section of the Acharyas of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, all the Vaishnavas, all the devotees Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Vancha Kalpatarubhyas, Indubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. All right, Dandavat,
Maharaj
Dandavat.
ki jai.
Hari Hari. Chant and be happy. Hari Hari.